Welcome to the IDEEA Podcast, a channel for the IDEEA Hospitality Investment Forum, which is an annual gathering for the hospitality investment community in Eastern Europe. Tune in to insightful conversations between the IDEEA team and hospitality investment leaders and innovators across Europe. And now, let's dive right into today's episode.
Hello, good morning everyone. We're here today at IDEEA Podcast with my dear colleague and I can even say friend, Takuya Aoyama, Vice President from Hyatt International. Takuya, it's really nice to have you here today. Welcome.
Thank you for having me, Marina. Pleasure.
Takuya and I met about 9 years ago 10 years ago when I started the HF. And Takuya has been supporting the event right from that beginning. And I really appreciate that because with his insights, with his proposals, with his suggestions, comments on the program, he has been advisory board member since the first day. I think we really made a good job. And now, actually, this year we would have 10th HF, and instead of that, we're going to have the first IDEEA. So, Takuya, I hope that you are aware that one piece of this is also what you did through all these years. So, thank you. But we'll go to IDEEA that is happening on September 26th and 27th in Athens. We're looking at the SE region, and today, since Takuya has been active in this region for so many years and knows owners, countries, governments, development opportunities, everything really well, I will take this discussion today a little bit in a different way. Takuya, I would like to ask you about each country in the region. What is your opinion? Where do you think opportunities are? But also, how would you like Hyatt to be part of that country or the region? I would go in alphabetical way for each country just because I don't want to miss anyone or any. So I would start with Albania.
Yeah. Albania, I noticed Albania has been receiving lots of attention. The government is trying very hard to promote tourism, and I think the brands have finally caught up. I think they are not only looking at Tirana, but they are looking beyond. And Albania has great, beautiful coastline, relatively unspoiled. So that's obviously something very interesting for the development of tourism. And when you are there, you really feel that it's a nation on the move. There's a lot of energy, lots of things are happening very fast. So that really helps further development opportunities. So I'm quite I wouldn't say bullish. I'm quite optimistic of Albania, but I do hope that they learn from the mistakes that other markets have done. I do hope that they'll keep their own individuality, as they move forward.
Takuya, as per Albania, it seems that the operators are coming really, and they're really interested in the market. What about the investors? Because I noticed most of them are local investors still. Yeah. Do you see any traction, any interest from the international investment funds or society?
You're right. So far, the majority of investors are local business people, local companies. There are some, or very few international money that are looking to get in. But I think, majority is still Albanian, and I think that's natural. It's usually in a market like this, is the first money to go in is the local.
Okay. Bulgaria.
How do I put Bulgaria? Bulgaria is a small nation, but it has, like other countries in the Black Sea region, it has lots of things to offer, obviously starting from all this ancient culture and things like that. It has a very viable leisure market along the Black Sea coast. Sunny Beach in particular has, I mean, if you haven't seen it, and go there. It's actually a very, very vibrant place, and the quality is coming up. It's not only a cheap destination. It is. I think the quality is catching up, and so we should have a look at it.
Okay, I haven't asked you. Do you see Hyatt coming into Albania or Bulgaria? What would be your preference? The location, the brand?
So we signed a management agreement to convert what used to be a Sheraton Tirana to a Hyatt Regency. If I remember correctly, we did it back in 2018. And that project is still going on. And I am looking at a couple of opportunities outside the capital city, but that's assuming that we have a base in Tirana, and then we have a proper, we'll have built a proper brand recognition and sales market capacity.
Okay. What about Croatia?
Croatia, we haven't done much, but the charm of Croatia is very obvious to many people. It's blessed with the coastline, and what makes Croatia particularly interesting is especially northern part of Croatia is a drive to destination for many in the Central Europe. I think this has helped during the lockdown years, and I think that market is continued to play a big role. It's great to be able to drive and not 100% relying on airlift. I think that is a very, very, very good thing. As for southern parts or other parts of Croatia, I still feel that inland Croatia needs to get more attention with regards to tourism development. From a hotel development perspective, you have very obvious destinations starting from Zagreb to Dubrovnik, Split, Zadar, and then I think there's a tremendous amount of interest in getting to islands, and probably those properties on the islands, if they are branded, will be done through franchising, particularly with soft brands, because you have a seasonality and human resource and all those issues, and I don't think international brands know how to deal with it.
Do you think that the seasonality can be resolved in any way? Because we've been talking about it for the past 20 years.
Yeah, we've been talking about it forever. I think people have been trying, but I don't think we have come up with a magic solution. I think everybody's looking at extending the season somewhat, but seasonality is going to stay.
And where would you like to see your brand standing out somewhere here?
Completely irrationally speaking, we should have one in Zagreb, no matter what. But again, I try to do, whenever I look at the market, I try to do in such a way that we first go into the capital city and then branch out. But probably in a country like Croatia, Montenegro, because some of the resort destinations have their own identity, they're strong enough. We may be, I wouldn't actually write a possibility that we just go straight into, the market outside Zagreb.
Because there's a couple of transactions now happening. More and more brands are signing deals, even though everyone tells me that Croatia has been the hardest market to develop and to sign deals. And we know that we have some local companies that actually run most of the business, and maybe that's also one of the reasons.
Agreed.
But
they're doing very well. That's another thing.
They're doing an amazing job. And it seems that it will continue in the same way, but I can see, as you said, more and more traction happening on islands, even though a couple of years ago no one would even consider an island as an investment, but now it's happening, so it seems that at least not only a couple of cities, but it will be more destinations that will develop. Okay, our host this year, Greece.
Greece is a regional tourism superstar, right? Again, it has everything. It has been attracted a great number of tourists, and it has ancient cities such as Athens, and Athens is going to remain Athens, and and then on top of it, it has a variety of tourism offerings. So it will remain strong no matter what. And I think brands are looking at obviously getting their representations in Athens, Thessaloniki, and then onward to islands. And we are doing the same. And as you know, this year's conference is happening at Grand Hyatt Athens. So,
Exactly. And it's amazing hotel that just got completely new building aside. So we're gonna, yes, we'll see a new venue, and it seems that. But what is interesting is Greece actually depends on airlift.
Yes,
severely depends on airlift, and it's the numbers are going through the roof. It's just amazing. So, what do you think that they're doing better or different than the others, or is it just because it's Greece? So everyone knows about Greece and Athens.
I don't want to offend anybody, but I think if you're Greece, it's easier than let's say than Bulgaria to promote the destination. There is a huge amount of I mean, you don't really need to promote the destination. Everybody knows Greece, and they can build on it. But I think, and I think the what is key is that not everywhere, but there are Greek hoteliers who are focusing very much on quality, authenticity, and things like that. And I think that's the right formula. And if you see those properties will help uplifting the market and keeping the market at a certain level. Because there's always temptation to just sell, for short-term profit, right?
Okay, Montenegro.
Montenegro. As you may know, we recently signed our first property in Montenegro, in Kotor.
Congratulations! I didn't know that.
Yeah, we didn't make a big announcement about it, but I went to the signing ceremony and I read a speech in Serbian.
So you did learn some Serbian over the years here.
Not really, but I said, what did I say? Dobrodošli u budući Hyatt Regency Kotor Bay Resort. Prvi Hyatt Hotel.
You speak so well.
Otvora u Crnoj Gori.
Well done, Takuya, really.
So that's our first project there. And yeah, here again, what I said earlier about Croatia applies. I think we could, in places like Montenegro, we would skip Podgorica and go straight into other destinations because they have their own strong position. But again, the issue is their lift and seasonality. That is, that's going to stay.
Croatia has seasonality, Greece has airlift, and Montenegro actually has both.
Good.
It's in the middle and it has both, unfortunately. I'm not sure, do you know how this season's gonna end for Montenegro?
Mm-hmm. Pardon, I didn't hear what you said.
I said, do you know how this season will end with in Montenegro? Because I know that they were quite severely hit because of the situation in
Yeah,
Russia and Ukraine.
yeah. Um, I only have an anecdotal thing to say. Yes, markets from Russian-speaking or countries and Ukraine have always been very important to the country, and they haven't completely lost that market, but it has dramatically decreased. But I think the hoteliers have been working to replace that demand from Western Europe and elsewhere. Yeah. And I think this year is an interesting because okay, you may have the impact from the war, but then on the other hand, everybody was so dying to travel,
To
right?
travel.
We have heard all these horror stories. So probably they were in a good position to replace the lost demand. Yeah.
What about Romania?
Romania. Uh, okay, when it comes to Romania, I'm not very
Watch
partial.
out. Watch out what
I'm
you're
not
gonna
very
say.
partial. Um, I will say a few things. Romania is one of the biggest countries in that part of the world, and it has multiple destination within the country. So it's like similar to it. It has the country has the setup similar to Poland. Uh, and what I would also say about Romania is okay. I'm just not talking about the hotel development per se, but Romanian politics has been free of those, extreme nationalist, populist trend. They have actually stayed away very well from those things which become very, very strong in Central and Eastern Europe. And I take that as a very encouraging thing. And I think once you have a good governance, and you need to have a good institution and legal framework, then you start to develop more, more in general, and tourism also is part of it. As far as the branded hotels are concerned, all of them are there in Bucharest. Only we are not there, unfortunately. And brands like Hilton's and Radisson's are already present in secondary markets, and secondary markets are interesting. Okay, they have direct flights with many Western European cities. They have their own dynamic. So it's yeah. I will continue to look for opportunities there.
Serbia?
Serbia. Serbia,
I love the way you smile every time I say a different country. You know them so well.
okay, we all know Belgrade is a great place to have fun. I think everybody agrees. It has, I think Belgrade has has already established or can establish itself as sort of fun capital in the Balkans, and that's interesting because when people hear about Serbia, many people don't associate Serbia with fun. So it's a good thing to have. In terms of hotel development, okay, it doesn't have coastline, but again, it has a couple of cities and destinations where which have its own tourism attractions, economic activities. So some people would obviously look at places like Novi Sad once you have established a presence in Belgrade. Yeah. And
But
thirdly,
do you see
it's a
how
dear to
strong you see secondary markets developing in Serbia for brands?
not that strong. I think that the issue is still the rates are not that high, and the development cost is how much it costs to develop. So I think if anybody is looking at going into secondary market or attracting brands to the secondary market, probably some sort of soft brand, collection brand, probably that way, that pragmatic way to go. Because hard brands,
And a franchise.
yeah, they come with different cost structure.
And the last one, the smallest one but not the least one, Slovenia.
Slovenia. I mean, we used to say Slovenia has best of both worlds, right? It looks and feels like Austria, but people are more half Balkan, and you can go to the sea, you can go to the coast, and also you can in the morning, and you can ski in the mountains. So that is a great thing. I think though Slovenia it doesn't have the size. So once you establish a presence in Ljubljana, then
Where next?
yeah, you can still go to Maribor or the coast, but it's yeah, it's not a very deep market, I would say.
Okay, now that we've passed all the countries, where do you see the international investors? So I see that the challenge in these markets over the years, first it was difficult to get into the capitals, now brands mostly are there, but now the secondary cities are not that interesting just because if we compare to the Western world, the traction is completely different. The business is not, there is not so much traveling happening because also the countries are small, so one day you can actually travel and come back. You don't necessarily need to travel and stay. Now, where do you see the international capital being really interested? We know about Greece. We are aware that in Greece both the Western European funds, the American funds, also Israeli money is now coming in.
Yeah.
For the rest of the region, where do you see that the international companies and actually the funds, so the money, investors, will be focused on in next couple of years?
Yeah, it's difficult to say. Okay, I'll just say a couple of things. One is that you know so long as there is enough local money, then maybe there isn't no need for international capital to come in. And depending on where a particular country is, maybe it's not because still there's a perception, there is still lots of things, institutions, and international money by definition tend to go for very secure destination, and they don't necessarily want to take political or geopolitical risks. And I think local business people might be in a better position to do something. And let's not forget, I mean, I always say so. I mean, many business people in those countries, I mean, they started from the scratch 30 years ago, right? they had the complete, their world changed in around 1990, and they built their business from the scratch. So there's a very high level of entrepreneurship, and so yeah, that's one thing. And secondly, the little international money I've seen is like, Montenegro has attracted non-local capital in hotel development, but they are usually, this branded residences and the hotel setup. And so probably, the main focus is the residential sale. And then that sort of justifies adding a hotel. But other than that, I haven't really seen anything that is international at a large scale. And if you're an international fund, then you'd rather go to Greece, because that's part of the EU, Eurozone.
Well, yes, indeed, and I can see those resorts developing even more now here on the coast of Croatia, and I guess it will happen. I'm not sure about Bulgaria and Romania, to be honest, but I guess it will. It's just easier to get the return on investment. It's faster, it's more secure. The only thing, it's a little bit different type of the investors that are coming in.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you so much, Takuya. So Takuya will be joining us in Athens on September 26, 27 at IDEEA. We have more than 60 speakers confirmed, and the lineup is really impressive, I have to say so. As I said, it's going to be a pleasure to be in Greece for the first time. Takuya, do you have anything else to add regarding IDEEA, regarding the region?
No, I love this region. I think this is working in this region is much more fun than working in, say, the Netherlands. Right? It's a great place to be, and I'm very much looking forward to attending the conference this year.
Thank you so much. I'm looking forward to seeing you soon.
Likewise.
Thank you. Bye.
Thank you for listening to the IDEEA Podcast, the channel for the IDEEA Hospitality Investment Forum. You can find a full transcript of this conversation in the content library on IDEEA-forum.com with other reports and insights. We look forward to welcoming you and your colleagues in person at IDEEA in Athens, Greece on the 26th through 27th of September 2022. If you haven't registered yet, please go to IDEEA-forum.com to purchase your pass today and save before ticket prices increase. Please feel free to email us with any questions at hello@thebench.com. Until the next episode, stay safe and keep well. Bye-bye for now.